So I used to have a farmhouse, and it was like a dream come true. And it had a big barn, had a creek running through it, a few acres, but it sat on what looked like hundreds of acres. And there was open fields and there were trees in the back. And then off to the side, there was this one huge tree, and I found out it was a mulberry tree, which I'd never heard of. I thought it was called a mulberry bush, but this thing was 30 feet tall, huge, mulberry tree. Did some research, found out mulberries come from mulberry trees, believe it or not. And mulberries are like these little bunched up purple fruit, kind of like blackberries. And there was a huge scar in it. Hollowed out divot, like half the tree was gone. You could get inside of it. But it was still a healthy tree. There was a huge canopy of branches, created a lot of shade. There was nothing about the tree at all that would make me think there's a huge scar here, but nevertheless, there was a scar. So I talked to our neighbor, Kent, who had grown up on that farm. His mother was born inside of our house 100 years before we bought it. So he knew the land, he grew up there. And one day I asked him, I said, Kent, have you been farming this land your whole life? And he said, no, I didn't start helping granddaddy till I was about 7. And I said, can you tell me about this tree? He said, yeah. He said, there was a blight, which is like a plant disease that spread all throughout Ashe County and other counties, and it killed thousands of mulberry trees. This one survived, and according to him, his theory was the reason it survived was because right around the same time of the blight, lightning struck the mulberry tree, and that was where the scar came from, and it almost killed it, but it didn't kill it. And so Kent's theory is that the trauma that the tree went through somehow strengthened the tree. Because maybe when you go through something hard, when you go through something traumatic, something difficult, you begin to realize how strong you really are, what you're capable of. So this tree now, in the midst of having a huge scar, huge hole, when summer comes, thousands and thousands of mulberries. So many that you walk around the yard and you get all over your feet, and you can eat as many as you want and give away as many as you want, and it'll never run out, or at least it feels like that. So here's my theory. If you go through something difficult and you survive it, whether it's something that you went through as an individual or maybe a collective trauma, if you get through it, you begin to actually believe that you're strong because you made it through. You're alive. And when you're alive, there are different seasons that you go through, and some of those seasons are seasons of letting go of things, of releasing. There are seasons where you are tired and you rest and you don't really do much. There are seasons where you start to believe again that there is life and you have hope and you start to produce leaves. And then there are seasons where you're just like, this is summer and game on, I am just producing stuff. I think the hope is if you're experiencing hopelessness, weariness, need to rest, or some hope, or full out hope, no matter what that is, that's what it means to be alive, because we go through those seasons. That's the lesson of the mulberry tree.